Live, local, and talking about the teams that matter to you. This is Talkin Sports with Jim Shovlin on Fort Wayne Sports Station, 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Brought to you by McMahon's Best One Tire and Auto Care.
Good morning and welcome to Talkin Sports, powered by McMahon's Best One. Along with DC Hendrix running the controls and keeping it all smooth, I'm Jim Shovlin. Thanks for tuning in as we're talking local sports of all sorts this morning on Saturday, January 11th, 2025. You get everything all shoveled out, DC?
Not yet. No, I just backed out of the driveway. Thought I was running late. I thought I left like an hour early, thinking I was thinking I was behind, because I live in Huntertown, so that's definitely not down the street. So I wanted to make sure I got here in time, and got here way earlier than I thought. Shout out to all the plowers out there.
Yeah,
definitely made sure the roads were plowed. They were perfectly fine. So I got here way too early, thinking that I was running behind. But yeah, definitely was not able to shuffle the driveway this morning.
But then we get to chat about all kinds of off-air stuff.
That's right. Great material that will not make air, for sure.
Never.
FCC will be after us if they heard our conversation.
That's right. If you want to be part of the show, you can do so via the text line at 260-447-8500. That's 260-447-8500. If you have a question, comment, suggestion, rant, whatever, we'll read it and go, yeah, that's terrible. Okay. And then we'll do that. But, all kinds of things going on. There were some postponements of basketball games last night due to the inclement weather or road conditions, I guess. But a lot of basketball games took place. A lot of girls, boys, double headers took place. But and we'll get to those scores in just a moment or two. But the Fort Wayne Komets started a two-game series in Tulsa by beating the Route 66 Blue Whales. That's what the Tulsa Oilers were last night. 3-2 in overtime. Alex Swetlikoff net the winner in overtime after Odine Tufto scored, and then Jack Dugan tied it in the third as the K's erased a 2-0 deficit. Same two teams tonight in Tulsa before the Komets then head to Wichita for a Sunday game. And the Notre Dame Fighting Irish will meet Ohio State for the College Football National Championship on Monday, January 20th, down in the ATL as the Buckeyes beat Texas last night, 28-14 in the Cotton Bowl. Ohio State was Ohio State. That's a very good football team. Texas, no slouch either. The final four teams in this, with Penn State and Notre Dame, too. I mean, that was an instant classic with everything that went on there. I'm not usually one to bump officiating, but there were some interesting calls in the Notre Dame game. Maybe it's because, I'll say it, I'm a Notre Dame fan. I've been a Notre Dame football.
I was going to say, that's what it is, Chevy.
I think it could be. And I've been a Notre Dame football fan since the Terry Hanratty era, 1966, 67, 68. Yeah, there we go.
I have no idea.
But then I'm also Notre Dame basketball. Don't get me started with the Collis Jones and Austin Carr era. Then when Digger came in, Austin Carr was a beast. I mean, and then played for the Cleveland Cavaliers for quite some time.
Yep.
But, through all, Notre Dame basketball, the Trapuka era, and the Flowers, Hanslick, Branning.
Working here definitely made, obviously this was before I moved to South Bend and became an even bigger fan, but, I became a big fan. So I was Brett Rum's producer from 2016, 15, one of those years. And once I started doing that, we ended up getting a pretty good relationship with Mike Bray. The basketball coach.
What a great coach.
Yeah, and what a great guy.
Yes.
He was very, very, open to coming on and was always one of my favorite guests when we brought him on. And that alone, on top of the type of basketball they played, made me a fan of Notre Dame basketball. So that was pretty much, before them, I followed them a little bit, but being able to interview Mike Bray and talk to him, that definitely made me more.
You're right. And I think I guess my fandom was because of the way he carried himself.
Yes.
At all times. So didn't win everything.
No.
But he was very
instrumental. Moving to South Bend definitely took my fandom of Notre Dame to honestly a new level. I got to go to the stadium for the first time, enjoy some football. And that was my first college football game other than St. Francis and
okay.
Watching them and Indiana Wesleyan before I moved. So that was my introduction to the college football atmosphere. And that was a great introduction. That was a good time. If anybody's ever been to Notre Dame Stadium and got to tailgate and pregame a little bit before the game, or if you haven't, definitely do it next year if you're able to.
And I've told this story before, but since you brought it up, my first football game at Notre Dame Stadium was the first game under the lights, the Musco lighting. They basically rented the lights and played Michigan. Anthony Carter, Rocket Ismail. Anyway,
wow.
And my uncle had an extra ticket. He and a few buddies went to a game every year. And they had an extra ticket that year, and so my uncle said, "You want to go?" Yeah, let's go. So we go, and we got there early, and he goes, "Why don't we go and watch the band form?" And I thought, whatever. I didn't have a lot of experience with marching bands.
Yeah.
And so we walk through the campus, and we get to a spot on a sidewalk, and we stop. And there's the marching band standing at attention.
Huh.
And nobody would march if there was a hair on anyone's collar.
Right.
If there was a button loose on any of the uniforms, nobody marched until that was fixed. And then once it was all together, then the drummers hit the first beats of the Fighting Irish fight song, and then they marched through campus.
Nice.
And it was great.
Nice.
And we just took the shortcut, went over to the stadium, got in our seats, and you could still hear the band.
Yeah.
Couldn't see them yet, but you could hear them coming through campus. Woo-hoo. Yeah. I told my uncle, I said, "Man, this game's going to be gravy." I said, "That was worth the price of your admission." I don't know whose ticket it was, but anyway, that was my first.
Yeah, that was so that pretty much, being able to go to the Notre Dame Stadium for the first time, that took my fandom to a new level, and obviously living there changed my perspective as well. But this year, we have to commend this team. Obviously we're going to sound like homers here, but even on the national scale, they've been counted out this whole playoff. Even going in, there's people saying that IU was going to beat them. Obviously,
and then Georgia.
And then obviously once they were matched up with Georgia, that's it, right? Great run, but
and I was saying that they were going to get beat by Penn State in the first half of that game against Penn State. True. Because Penn State looked incredible.
Whatever happened to Riley Leonard in the second quarter when he got bumped and had to go back and get checked out for the concussion? Whatever happened after
it was Angeli that happened.
I don't know what happened, but 4 scoring drives after that, and just completely turned the game around. And obviously Drew Aller throwing the goofball interception at the end. I mean, look, that's although excuses are made, look, big moments like that is what makes the game. So shout out to Christian Gray.
Comes up big.
Yep, shout out to Christian Gray for the interception. He's seen it, and instead of throwing the ball away like Aller should have, he threw it too close to the defender, and Notre Dame walks away with the victory. Now we got Notre Dame, Ohio State, which
I was going to say, what's your reward? The Buckeyes. And so impressed with them, and of course Texas too, because that game was tight until
oh man, yeah,
late in the fourth quarter. But I mean, it was one of those games.
Moment those big moments sometimes, especially in college. Sometimes those moments are just too big.
Yeah,
and that's when the mistakes are made. You got to step up and make a big play. I think Marcus Freeman, coach of Notre Dame, even mentioned that. After the game against Penn State, those big moments are what make or break the game. And that's what makes, great teams is big moments like that. So shout out to the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They're still in it, Chevy. They're still in it.
Yes, indeed.
Going for a natty.
And we'll talk about it next Saturday, too, because the game will not have taken place. Right. So, Let's go to Blake Sebring's book, Fort Wayne Sports History. Last couple of weeks, I've had it on the schedule, but didn't get to it. But on this date, January 11th in 1994, the Fort Wayne Fury hosts the CBA All-Star Game. Jeff Martin of Grand Rapids was named Most Valuable Player after scoring 20 points and grabbing 9 rebounds. The Fury was represented by Travis Williams, who scored 15 points, and Jay Edwards, who had 10. The crowd was 6,324. Very nice. Very nice for 1994 basketball professionally in Fort Wayne. Now, if you want to back it up a night, also in 1994, the Fury's Myron Brown wins the CBA's slam dunk contest. At 6'2", Brown was shorter than any other competitor in the prelude to the next night's CBA All-Star Game, but he also had the home crowd advantage along with his 45-inch vertical leaping ability. Brown caught a break when fellow finalist George Ackles of Fargo Moorhead missed his final dunk before Brown's last attempt. And there you go. That's this date in Fort Wayne sports history, January 11th, and a little homage to the Fort Wayne Fury. And, there's so much history with the Fury from Keith Smart coaching and Rick Barry coaching, Percy Miller playing, Master P, and just so many great stories. And I know I've spoken with Art Salzberg, who at one time was the general manager, and there's so many things. And I know that right now we have Ted Fry was in sales for the Fury, and he has stories. I'd probably like to get these guys on and just talk about that. I mean, they had a 10-year run in Fort Wayne. And but just some of the stories and some of the big names, and like we talked about Jay Edwards and Lloyd Daniels. I mean, just amazing basketball players.
I remember so I was younger, obviously, in the Fury years, but my last final memory of the Fury was, and this obviously is not really a negative memory, but I made the All-Star team. I think back then, I don't know if they still do that, but YMCA, we used to have all-star teams back in the day, and I was one of the players that made the all-star team. We were supposed to play at halftime of an upcoming Fury game, and that was when no more Fury, so never got to play. I remember I was not only was I so sad, not only was I sad not to play at halftime, but I didn't get to go to a whole lot of the games. So for me, going to the games was a big deal. So I did get to see I got to see a little bit of Percy Miller when he was here. So that's a big memory of mine. But that was my final memory of the Fury. That's why it's everyone has different memories of the Fury, and that's one of my things that I remember it really crushed me not having a professional, semi-professional basketball team here anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, and at the time, though, it was the minor league of the NBA.
Oh, for sure.
The other team, too, when the Mad
You notice I didn't mention them.
I know.
You did. Not
I
me.
know. Anyway.
I refused to. I almost did, and I did not.
260-447-8500 is the text
between the
line.
lines, folks. Read between the lines.
And here we go.
They left us. Hint, hint.
But let's take a look at some of the high school basketball scores from last night. First in girls basketball, in a big NE8 matchup, it was Belmont over Columbia City, 53-41. Leo at Norwell postponed. New Haven, DeKalb postponed. It was Wayne over Northside, 56-46. Homestead, an 87-22 winner over Southside. Northrop gets a 52-42 win over Snyder. It was Lures 45, Concordia 43. Carroll beats on Bishop Dwenger 80-53. Adams Central at Heritage postponed. Bluffton 75, Jay County 45. Mr. Price, I said Bluffton. Okay. 53. It was Southern Wells 58-33 over South Adams. West Noble 50, Lakeland 40, Angola 53-32 over Prairie Heights. So the East Side postponed to today and it was Fremont. Oh, my gosh. It was Fremont over Cherubusco, 56-31. On the boys' side, it was Wayne over Northside, 79-42. Homestead, in a low-scoring affair, gets a win over Southside, 50-37. Snyder, 75, and Northrop, 49. Lures wins again by 20 over Concordia, 61-41. Seth Coffing's Knights are on a roll. Carroll, 54, Dwenger, 28. Huntington North at East Noble postponed. It was Lakeland, 42, West Noble, 34. Angola beats Prairie Heights, 58-41. Garrett, a 53-34 win over Central Noble. Fairfield at Eastside postponed to today. Busco ekes out a 36 win over Fremont, and the Fort Wayne Homeschool at Lakewood Park was postponed. And before we go to break, I want to give a shout out to a lot of New Haven girls wrestlers who competed in regionals, and no less than five Bulldogs are going to state. The top four finishers in the regionals are state-bound, and the Bulldogs had three champions. At 115, Isabel Ocampo, 130, Lanessa Ocampo, and then at 170, Evan Gardner were champions. In second place at 155 was Olivia Bodie, and in fourth place, 235, was Delessa McGee. Also, wrestlers from Homestead and Huntington North punched their ticket to the state finals as well. So congratulations, ladies, on that feat. And, of course, we will keep you posted on what happens at the state finals as well. So that's the Pacers. Pacers get their fifth straight win, a 108-96 win over the Steph Curry-less Golden State Warriors. What's wrong, DC?
So yeah, your producer, myself, was supposed to be at the game last night.
Oh no.
Yeah, I had tickets to the game. Was very excited. Chose not to go. Just the weather. Didn't really. It was just one of those things where it's like, you want to go, got the tickets a while back, one of those deals. I was just like, I don't really want to chance it. You
never know. You get tickets for anything in January.
So down there, they were in the orange, and even a little bit south of there was red. So like they were getting hit down there worse than we did. So going from bad weather to worse weather. So, and then from worse weather to still bad weather. So it would have been, it's a 2-hour haul there and back. It was just one of those things. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to do it tonight. I'm really not feeling it. And it's a good thing because, once again, the thing I've been complaining about the most, they talk about why the numbers are down in the NBA and why is viewership down. Well, people are buying tickets and they go. They buy tickets to see the Warriors and Pacers, and they go, and Steph Curry's over there jumping around and doing jumping jacks and backflips over on the – he really wasn't doing all that, but clearly is not hurt and sitting on the sideline in street clothes and not playing. It's like – and you wonder why viewership is down. It's like, this is why. We've talked about it on here, too.
And what's the answer? I mean, is it the 82-game schedule that wears them down?
I mean, at this point, yeah.
Baseball goes 162.
We'll sit here and say, oh, well, back in the old days, they played. Like, all right, that's cool. But, like, at some point, you have to make some kind of adjustment because you go to games, like, when's the last time Kawhi Leonard has played? Like, I don't even know at this point. You go to too many games and the stars aren't playing. It's just it's gotten out of hand. So like, if people aren't going to watch the games and pay for tickets to go to them, they're not going to watch it at home either. Like, so it's pretty simple. I think that's where you start. I think they have to shorten the season a little bit.
All right, DC has spoken. There we go.
A frustrated NBA fan.
Yes, indeed.
It's been building up for a while.
Before we go to break, I want to tell you about my friends at Culligan. Do you have a water softener? Do you? Is it like over in the corner of your basement by the sump pit with cobwebs all over it and everything because you haven't checked it in a long time? Or maybe you got on city water and you think, I don't need it anymore. I mean, even city water, as good as that is, still has a little bit of hardness in it. And with a water softener, you can take that right down to zero hardness and elongate the life of your waterborne appliances, your dishwasher, your washing machine, your hot water heater, things like this. Give Culligan a call today for their inspection of $29.95. They'll come out, they'll take a look, they'll run a few tests on the water that you have going through your house. And if you need some adjustments made on your water softener, they'll do that. They'll make some suggestions. If you need a new water softener, they'll tell you. If you don't, they'll tell you. They are character-driven and ethics-driven, and I vouch for them any day of the week. Give them a call today, 484-8668. That's 484-8668. Give your people Culligan Water. We'll be right back with Mike McCaffrey. You're listening to Talkin Sports, powered by McMahon's Best One on 1380 The Fan, 100.9 FM.
How do you thank the people that add so much to our lives? How do you celebrate a community that brings out the best in all of us? You give back. In 2022, McMahon's Best One gave more than $100,000 to local organizations that are always there to lift us up, to listen, to strengthen us, every one of us. Throughout the year, McMahon's Best One will continue to give back to the community that has given so much to us, bringing out the best in each other, together.
Last season, the Indiana Pacers made it all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. Can they do even better than that this season? Well, this is the place to find out. I'd like to invite you to join Pat Boylan, Eddie Gill, and me as we bring you all of the action all season long as the Pacers continue their quest for a championship. You can follow along right here on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM, Fort Wayne's sports station.
When I started DuPont Family Dentistry here in Fort Wayne 25 years ago, I never imagined the incredible journey it would take me on. Hi, I'm Dr. Dave Deal. Over my career, I have been privileged with helping patients restore confidence in their smiles. We not only see smile transformations, we see lives transformed. And along the way, we have also built some great relationships. However, as time went on, I noticed a growing need, one that just wasn't being fully met when it came to dentures and our denture patients. They needed better. That's why I'm so excited to introduce New Hope Digital Dentures, a dental practice dedicated to creating the most comfortable, best fitting, and affordable dentures possible. Our technology, our team, and our in-house 3D dental lab have revolutionized the way dentures are made. If you are ready to upgrade to new, better fitting dentures or are ready for a smile that restores your confidence, give us a call today at 260-247-6300. We are located right next to DuPont Family Dentistry. That's 260-247-6300. Let us help you discover what a new smile can do for you.
A diagnosis of Alzheimer's can make it a struggle to communicate with loved ones. This is Tina McIntosh, president of Joyce House and co-host of the Caregiver Crossing radio program. In a moment, I've got a tip which often helps that will be music to your ears. Don't go away.
Cardon and Associates offers the finest senior living options tailored to your loved one's needs. Reservations are now being accepted for new apartments at Copper Trace in Westfield. Visit cardon.com.
A growing number of studies show the power of music's role in those living with Alzheimer's. The next time a loved one seems to be tuned out, gently place headphones on them or simply turn on one of their favorite songs. Watch their eyes light up and don't be surprised if they sing along or start chatting about the tune. More tips like this are available anytime at caregivercrossingradio.org. With new weekly content created by Joyce House and distributed in partnership with Network Indiana, we're an on-air and online support group for Hoosier family caregivers. Hear conversations with experts, access a library of online education, and more at caregivercrossingradio.org.
Do you know a veteran in need? After leaving the military, many veterans struggle to find their way home. Because to a veteran, home isn't just a place, it's an idea, a feeling. Nation's Finest understands the challenges veterans face. Through the VA's Supportive Services for Veteran Families program, we help veterans and their families struggling with rent, employment, and other housing-related costs. Today, Nation's Finest operates more than 30 locations in California, Arizona, and Nevada. For more than 50 years, we've helped thousands of veterans in these communities build happy, healthy, and purposeful lives. And our team is committed to supporting those who've served in their families for another 50. To get help, visit nationsfinest.org or call 1-833-468-9676. That's 1-833-468-9676.
Substance use disorder and addiction is so isolating. In recovery, hope must be loud. It grows louder when you ask for help and you're vulnerable. It is the thread that lets you know that no matter what happens, you will be okay.
When we learn the power of hope, recovery is possible. Find out how at startwithhope.com. Brought to you by the National Council for Mental Wellbeing, Shatterproof, and the Ad Council.
Now back to Talkin Sports with Jim Shovlin on Fort Wayne Sports Station, 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM.
Welcome back to Talkin Sports, powered by McMahon's Best One. Along with DC Hendrix, I'm Jim Shovlin. Thanks for tuning in as we're talking local sports of all sorts until the top of the hour at 10 o'clock. If you'd like to be part of the show, you can do so via the text line at 260-447-8500. That's 260-447-8500. Especially if you have a question regarding St. Francis Athletics, because on the Talkin Sports phone line, powered by Fire Police City County Federal Credit Union, is Mr. Mike McCaffrey. Mike, good morning.
Good morning, Jimmy. How you doing, buddy?
I am great. And before we get into St. Francis Athletics, I know for a fact that you are a big Miami Dolphins fan.
Oh, jeez.
Now, your thoughts on Tyreek Hill and his not wanting to be part of this organization because they didn't make the playoffs, and he'd like a trade to the Buffalo Bills. Well, who wouldn't?
Yeah. I think a lot of people would like to play for the Buffalo Bills right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's not dissimilar from a lot of stuff that's going on in sports, whether it's pro or college, and you've got transfer portals, and you've got things that are not having anything to do with the game or the team or coaches. Guys are making decisions based on who knows what. He's a heck of a talent, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of money there that you could spread across and maybe get some other players other than just one fast guy. And I think, philosophically, I think the Dolphins have some work to do on figuring out just how they're going to compete with some of the better teams in the NFL, because obviously just getting a bunch of fast guys and outrunning everyone hasn't really worked, and your quarterback hasn't been able to stay healthy. And they've got a lot more issues than, I think, just Tyreek Hill. So, honestly, I don't get too worked up over what Tyreek says, because he likes to say a lot of different things. You never really know what the heck the truth is anyway.
And in like 33 days, pitchers and catchers report, and you being a Red Sox fan, you've got to be, excited about the start of the season.
A little bit, yeah. I'm a little more excited this year than I was last year.
Yes, indeed. Well, let's talk some St. Francis Athletics, and let's start with women's basketball. And, of course, since we last talked, the Lady Cougars have played 2 games, 1-1 in that. Of course, dropped a decision to Indiana Wesleyan last Saturday at the Hutzel Center, 59-54 in a battle of unbeatens. And when you get into January and you still have unbeatens, those are 2 pretty good teams. And this was looks like this was a war right down to the wire. And what the heck? I mean, and Jeremy Henney's team bounces back against, Mount Vernon Nazarene on Wednesday, and basically pummeled them 84-65.
Yeah, the Wesleyan game was everything that you wanted in a college basketball game. I mean, it was a great crowd, great game. Indiana Wesleyan's a heck of a team. They kind of, we haven't really been in a game like that yet this year, so this was kind of a first experience for some of our new girls on our team. So Callie Gregory, freshman, and some of our other ones that came in. They've never been in an Indiana Wesleyan game before, and I think talking to Jeremy Henney after the game a little bit, they sped us up in the first half. They defend you, they press you almost the entire court, and they speed up your mind and they speed up your process, and they get you uncomfortable. And I think we did that in the first half, and they were able to capitalize on it. But then we played a heck of a second half and came out, really played well defensively, controlled the ball more, didn't turn it over as much. And I think, we're excited to get a chance to go back down there and play them again. They're the number 2 team in the country, and we were number 11, and we'll wait and see where the rankings are when they come out next week again. But it was a great game. I know a lot of confidence, a lot of stuff we can build off of, and then to turn around and handle business, like you said, against Mount Vernon on Wednesday showed that, no hangover, no lingering effects from that Wesleyan game. these Marion and Wesleyan and us have kind of early on shown to be maybe the top 3 teams in the Crossroads League. So we got to drop the one to Indiana Wesleyan. So we got to go take care of business at Marion today and hopefully get that win so we can keep our place at in the top 25 as well as in the top of the Crossroads League.
Yes, indeed. Right now, showing up at 15-1 on the season for the women. Not too shabby. Now, they're number 11 in the country?
Yeah, and the new ranking will come out next week. They don't do it over the break, so we'll wait till everybody comes back from break, and they'll do another ranking. I don't anticipate we fall too far since we lost to number 2, but it was a game at home, so we may go down to 13, 14, somewhere around there. But as long as we're in that top 20 towards the end of the season, then potentially put us in a position to host our first opening round in history.
Mm-hmm. Now, moving over to the men's side, the men now 11-5 overall, 4-2 in the Crossroads. Basically flipped the script by beating Wesleyan on Saturday, 80-77, and then dropping 1 to Mount Vernon Nazarene, 98-73.
Yeah, the Wesleyan game was, again, last Saturday was a heck of a day in Hutzel. They played their butts off in front of a big crowd, and Wesleyan is they're talented. I think they're a little beat up. I don't know that they have all of their starters right now because they went and lost again on Wednesday, so I think they're 1-5 in the Crossroads League, which is not anything you would expect from Indiana Wesleyan. But our guys stepped up. Isaiah Malone had a great game, 27 points, I think, a bunch of rebounds, good putbacks. Brandon Northern finished 7 assists, I think, against Wesleyan. So he was dishing. And Zane Burke, who I love at the end of a game, Zane Burke, if he's got a ball and it's an open 3, there's a 90% chance he's going to knock it down when the game is close. So he's clutch and great for a senior to have a big game like that at home. And then just, came out and didn't have our best effort on Wednesday. So, like you said, kind of flipped the script. The women's team was able to bounce back from a tough loss and get a big win, whereas our men's team was coming off a big win and probably lost to a team we shouldn't have in Mount Vernon Nazarene. But they had one player who just went nuts and had 30, and we couldn't get him to miss a shot. And I think defensively we just weren't as aggressive as we probably should have been against a team that comes into our place, and we wanted to take care of business. But RPI rankings are out, and the men are good. And so I think, if we can hold court and we can beat the teams we're supposed to beat here down the stretch and going into the second half of the Crossroads League play, that men got some work to do, but they've got the talent to get it done.
We're talking this morning with Mike McCaffrey, athletic director at the University of St. Francis, in our weekly Cougar chat. And, of course, since there's snow on the ground and it's early January, that means, hey, spring sports are right on the horizon. Any updates on the spring sports?
Nah, just getting ready to head south here next month. February, we'll make our trips, and the softball team will go down to Orlando and get a bunch of games in, and Dustin Butcher's going to open up his season against 2 of the best teams in the country. So I know we're going to go down and play Southeastern down in Florida and then play Georgia Gwinnett in Georgia. And I think both of them are going to be in the top 4 when the preseason rankings come out. They're 2 of the better teams in the NAIA. So we will find out quick how good we are. And it may come back from a road trip, as Dustin Butcher said. We may come back 0-8, but it doesn't mean we're a bad team because we're playing some really good teams down there. But it'll be a great exposure for our kids, a great trip to get them down there to Florida. We haven't done that one in a while for the baseball team, so I know he's excited to get down there and see what he's got for this year. And obviously being led by Eli Riley and Sam Pisa and those guys coming back for their senior year should be fun.
Yes, indeed. And I was just kind of reflecting too, as you were talking about baseball in this area. And the difference between a good high school baseball player and a good college baseball player. There's just such a difference and such a leap in everything that you have to. I mean, you have to have the mental toughness, number one. You have to play in conditions that you think they're bad in high school. I mean, from a weather perspective, they're worse in college. And, baby, you just get these games in. And, it just with the competition and just the way a lot of these guys play and just so close to either being in, professional baseball players or independent league players, There's a lot of good baseball being played, and I'll tell you what, it takes a little bit of a leap to be able to compete at that level. But we have so many guys around this area, and Coach Butcher does a great job, and so does Coach Bolin from the softball side, of recruiting this area, because there is a lot of talent in this area.
Yes, there definitely is. And the fun thing about baseball is there's so many opportunities for guys after they're done at USF to go play somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like football where you've got, you have the NFL or you have the CFL. I mean, there's really only high-level type of opportunities. But baseball, there's so many, as you said, independent leagues and places out there where these guys can go play. So, Nick Parsons, who played for us last year, is up playing in Canada. And, I'm confident Eli Riley and Jaden Lepper and some of our guys are going to be playing for several more years somewhere. But we're excited to have one more year with all these guys and try to build off what we did last year and see if we can make some more magic happen, because it's not going to be easy with Taylor and Huntington and Indiana Wesleyan right there with us. Crossroads League, as we know, doesn't get a lot of at-large bids, so we got to win the conference or probably win the conference tournament to get in.
And when might something like that change, where the Crossroads League gets a little bit more respect? Because you know, and I know that Crossroads League is a gauntlet especially in baseball, and in basketball too. But I mean, but in baseball, there are so many good teams, and you talked about Taylor right off the bat. Yeah. Okay, but you got Wesleyan, you got Huntington, you got St. Francis, and all these are good, but one.
Well, I would tell you that, the way we do it is we go out and we play some of the best teams in the country that are not in the Crossroads League, but you got to get wins, right? I mean, it's one thing to go play Southeastern, and it's one thing to go play Georgia Gwinnett or go play some of these Freed Hardmans and Tennessee Wesleyans and some of these ones that are national staples in the national tournament. So you got to schedule those teams, and you got to go beat them every once in a while, and then you'll start to get that respect from people around the country. That's what we do in basketball, which is so effective for Coach Lacrosse, as he schedules some of the better teams in other conferences around us, so that at the end of the day, when you're in a room with a selection committee who doesn't watch all these games, you've got wins over teams that are ahead of you that they're talking about automatically. And it's like, oh, well, St. Francis beat them, so maybe we should give them a little more recognition. So it's all on us. We've got to schedule them, and we've got to go get some wins, and then we'll get the respect that we've earned.
Quick question: how far in advance are these schedules put together?
So, I mean, generally, most of our schedules are done by, June or July. So baseball sometimes, lingers a little bit, but it depends on the sport, really. But our baseball and our softball schedule, I mean, our conference schedule is set 2 years out, right. So we know that one. It's really just the non-conference games that you want to lock in, and they'll do it during this season while they're traveling around. They may run into a coach down at the Cumberlands or something that we play in a national tournament and say, hey, you want to come down for a 4-game set next year? And so really just try to piece it together over the summer and make sure that by the time school starts, we're good to go. Basketball and football's already set. So the conference stuff is set way ahead of time, but the non-conference stuff takes a little more time.
Mike, thank you so much for joining us this morning, and we'll talk to you next Saturday.
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
All right. That was Mike McCaffrey, athletic director at the University of St. Francis, in our weekly Cougar chat. Before we go to break, got a text come in on the text line at 260-447-8500. And it's regarding our NBA chat. We had a little bit right before the Mike came on. It says, TS, has LeBron ever played in Indy?
Couldn't tell you the last time.
Probably
would have been the playoff series.
Yeah, would have almost had it. Yeah, if that, I don't even know if Bronny would play in Indy.
Yeah. So what they're talking about is our discussion from earlier when we were talking about. I was supposed to go to the Pacers game last night, just to recap everyone. Pacers Warriors, got these tickets obviously not only to see the Pacers, but I wanted to see Steph Curry.
He's one of the best 3-point shooters in the history of the NBA.
And to be completely honest, about a few years left at most. So, want to see Curry any chance I get. So, didn't go to the game last night due to the weather. It was bad here, worse down there. Made the decision to stay here, stay safe with the family. And no Curry last night. No Draymond Green.
No Draymond Green either.
No Jonathan Kuminga.
Yeah.
It's to the point where NBA just needs to figure out something. They need to lower the amount of games in the season. It's just too many times. And I text this texter back, whoever texted us in, because originally they said Indiana seems to be the designated day off for NBA All-Stars, which is very unfortunate, but it's true. It's not just Curry. But this would have been, last night would have been the fourth time that I've went to a Pacers-Warriors game in Indy to see Steph Curry, and I've only seen him once. He played one time out of those 4 times.
It's like back in the day, I used to be a Don Mattingly fan because he was from Evansville and with the Yankees and all that. Yeah. And any time I'd go somewhere and the Yankees would be playing, whether it was Cleveland, Chicago, Johnny Baseball had a bad back.
Oh.
never got to see him play.
Man.
Oh, one of those things. But, oh, well. Well, thanks for the text. And, great question. We're going to go ahead and step out, go to a break, and then we'll come back with more. You're listening to Talkin Sports, powered by McMahon's Best One on 1380 The Fan, 100.9 FM. Have you looked at your auto or homeowner's insurance rate lately? Think it's about time to get a competitive quote? Call the Wise Insurance Agency today at 260-747-5373. Located at 7410 Bluffton Road, Wise Insurance is a local company that's been in business for 25 years. Being an independent agent working with over 15 A-plus rated carriers allows Coach Ron Wise to assess your needs and determine the best option for you to give you maximum coverage with the most affordable premiums. The Wise Insurance Agency also offers motorcycle, RV, and watercraft insurance, as well as renter's insurance, flood, and umbrella policies. Multi-policy discounts are also available, and make sure to ask Ron about the good student discount up to 20%. Let Coach Wise show you the fundamentals of getting the right insurance. Don't put it off. Contact Coach Ron and the Wise Insurance Agency team today at 260-747-5373 or find them online at thewiseinsuranceagency.com.
As interest rates are finally starting to drop, partnering with a local builder has never made more sense. Like locally owned Hammond Homes. Al Hammond and his team have been building high-quality luxury homes right here in WOWO land since 1978. Not only do you get personalized service, one-on-one attention, and exceptional quality, but you'll also be able to lock in a great rate and start building equity in your custom home. And rest easy knowing you're in good hands, as they are a true design build firm, which means they're able to bring architectural and interior design into your home, making it one of a kind. Plus, you get to see finished selections in both 2D and 3D before they implement anything, so they can be sure to understand what you do like and what you don't like. If building new isn't on your to-do list right now, but you want to transform your home before the entire family is over for the holidays, the folks at Hammond Homes are experts in home transformations, like remodeling kitchens and bathrooms to creating beautiful indoor living spaces, delivering on time and on budget. Find them online at hammond-homes.com. Delivering on time and on budget, it's Hammond Homes.
I think it's understood that everybody looks a little bit finer when you dress in designer fashions from Christopher James Menswear. Maybe you've been a little cautious because you're concerned about the price. This is for you. It's time to celebrate the new year with a huge winter sale. Right now, all fall and winter merchandise is 40 to 50% off. For best selection and size availability, don't delay. Get to Christopher James Menswear in Covington Plaza.
Why? Why take a chance? Why risk a mistake? Why say something? We all have reasons why we choose to ignore the things that give us pause, that seem out of place, that don't feel right. The word why can either paralyze us or empower us to stand up and protect what we love. So if you see something, why do you say something?
I see safe for my family.
I see safe for my friends.
I see say for my students.
We see say for each other.
I see say because all of this matters.
We all have something worth protecting. A why that unifies this community we're all a part of. So protect your everyday. Report suspicious activity to local authorities. If you see something, say something.
Make a difference today, because the Los Angeles wildfires have left hundreds of thousands of people in need of a helping hand. Donate to the American Red Cross and help the families affected. Text relief to 45364.
Now back to Talkin' Sports with Jim Shovlin on Fort Wayne Sports Station 13.
Welcome back to Talkin' Sports, powered by McMahon's Best One. Along with DC Hendrix, I'm Jim Shovlin. Thanks so much for joining us as we're talking local sports of all sorts till the top of the hour at 10 o'clock. If you have a question, comment, opinion, etc., do so via the text line at 260-447-8500. And DC, guess who we've got on the Talkin' Sports phone line? Well, you should know because you called them. On the Talkin' Sports phone line, powered by Fire Police City County Federal Credit Union, is none other than Comet play-by-play broadcaster, Mr. Shane Albahrani. Shane, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Well, I'll tell you what. You went out to Tulsa to play the Oilers, but you ended up with the Route 66 Blue Whales. What the? Obviously, in that blue color was watched a little bit of the game last night. Holy cow. Boy, you sure couldn't pick them out of a lineup, could you, man? They glowed in the dark.
Yeah, that was it was from the play-by-play broadcaster perspective. Those unis were kind of brutal. It took me till about the third period to really kind of figure out who was who.
and that's the thing, and not only do they do that, but sometimes they mess with the number font. And I know from PA experience, that's the same thing. It's horrible. You're trying to get, and you look, and the 1 looks like a 7, or a 5 looks like a 2, or it's ridiculous. But out in Tulsa, it indicated that they had 5,200 on hand. They must have all been sitting on the side of the camera because there were a lot of empty seats on the other side, that's for sure. But the Komets got off the schneid. A couple of goals in the third period. It was Tufto and Dugan scoring to tie the game up. Connor Unger stood on his head once again. And then Mr. Svetlikov buries one in the OT to win the game and get 2 points for the K's on the road.
Yeah, I never doubted it for a second. Komets were down 2-0 late in the third. I think we scored all 3 goals in about the span of 9 minutes, and that includes overtime. It was looking a little bleak there. We thought we may have a 5-game losing streak, but the boys rallied in the end and ended up taking it in OT.
Man, yeah. And then, of course, the same 2 teams tonight in Tulsa. And then from here, how far is Wichita from Tulsa?
It's about, I believe, right around 3 hours.
Okay.
So, it'll be a fun trip. We'll get done here tonight. We'll bus on over to Wichita, and it's an early start. It's a 2 o'clock local time, so 3 o'clock in Fort Wayne start time. So we'll basically just, get off the bus, maybe grab a quick nap, and then we're back off to the arena.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because after back-to-backs here Friday and Saturday in Tulsa. Now, the Blue Whales, that's just some kind of a I don't know, historical thing there. I can't imagine whales in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Well, it's actually a famous roadside attraction around here on Route 66, where it's a giant blue whale that is actually part of a swimming hole that the kids would go and then jump on the blue whale and jump into the lake, and so it's a very famous thing around here. So it's actually kind of cool. The way they're honoring, kind of local landmarks like that. So it is kind of neat, but I do wish that the jerseys, I hope they're going to be a little bit different tonight, so I hope they're a little easier to read for me.
There we go. And Shane, the way you described that attraction, as a child, did you ever take part in that?
No, that sounds like something I probably should have done. If I lived down here, it probably wouldn't something would have been cool.
It almost sounds like a vacation destination for the Albahrani's, maybe, perhaps. But okay, we had. I know Taylor didn't play last night, and some others as well. What's the health of the team like right now?
Well, we got a lot of guys back last night. Brandon McManus, Alex Swetlakoff was back. Ethan Keppen was back. Keppen got an assist. Swetlakoff got the game-winning goal. So right there, you already had a lot different lineup than you had during the 4-game losing skid. And, Justin Taylor, I think, is probably just a casualty of not having the cap space to dress a full lineup last night with all those guys back. So overall, I think health-wise, I think we're doing okay.
Okay, great. And, of course, the Komets are, as we said, in Tulsa tonight, in Wichita tomorrow, and then come home for 2 games, Friday and Saturday of next week. And Friday night is those pesky Toledo Walleye.
Yeah, it seems like we always catch Toledo when we're on a downswing and they're on an upswing, which is what we had last weekend. So, they've opened up now a big lead. They have now 4 games in hand on the Komets. So, another just a chance to maybe cut into it coming up on Friday night.
Yes, indeed. And then do they play Maine on Saturday at the Coliseum?
Yeah, Maine will be in town for the very first time ever. They've never been in the Coliseum. We've actually never played Maine at all, so it'll be something different. Seeing a new opponent come into the jungle there, and big crowds expected here for next Friday and Saturday.
And now let's say when you've got a new team, a new situation like this, and of course with the large ECHL, this is going to happen from time to time. But I mean, from a coaching staff perspective, all they can do is go by film, right? I mean, do they have other methods in which to scout?
It's pretty much it's film. You have 3 coaches, and Olivier Legault does a lot of the advanced scouting on that. We're looking at film, and so does Corey Melkert. So no, it's just a matter of getting through this weekend, and they can get back to work. You know what Toledo's bringing to the situation on Friday, so the guys can kind of concentrate on what's going to happen on Saturday against Maine.
Yeah, because the Toledos, the Kalamazoos, the Indies, with as much on the schedule as they are, it's obviously a little bit easier to prepare now as far as skill level and everything like that. It is what it is, but it's a little bit tougher than if you just got film to go by. But, well, listen, Shane, enjoy Oklahoma. And now is this Wichita, Kansas, then you'll be heading to?
Yep, that's where we'll be heading to after the game tonight.
Okay. Well, enjoy the middle part of the Midwest. And, and we will talk to you next Saturday morning.
All right. Thanks a lot, Jimmy.
All right, Shane. That was Shane Albahrani, play-by-play voice of your Fort Wayne Komets. And, DC, have you been out to see the Komets yet?
I went to the New Year's Eve game.
Oh, okay.
Brought in the New Year with the Fort Wayne Komets. That was my first Komets game in about 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah, because I moved to South Bend for a few and then just moved back last year. So, yeah, my first Komets game was New Year's Eve in 5 years.
I see. Okay. It's a fun team to watch. I enjoy watching them. There's some individual talent out there as well, and there's some toughness. So, yeah, anyway, all kinds of fun to be had there. 447-8500, 260-447-8500, the text line as well. And once again, you got football playoffs today and tomorrow. Right. My goodness, it's hard to believe that the regular season is already beyond us. And we've got the Chargers and Houston Texans playing at 4:30 this afternoon.
Texans,
yeah. Well, the Chargers. Herbert, no, that was.
Got the Texans.
Okay. Now, even with the Harbaugh factor.
Yeah.
Texans. Okay. All right. And then Pittsburgh, Baltimore. Is there any?
Ooh. Got Baltimore, but that's going to be a good one.
I'll tell you what. Well, I mean, who's a quarterback for? Well, it's got to be it's Russell Wilson, obviously.
You got to go Russell Wilson.
But yeah. But what do you think Justin Fields is going to do?
I mean, there's nothing telling us that he couldn't start next year if things don't go well in the game.
Well,
I mean, there already been rumblings already throughout the season. So if Russell comes out and lays an egg against Baltimore in the playoff game, then I think Justin Fields could go in the next season as his next starter.
But is that your answer? I mean,
no, absolutely not.
That,
no,
because Justin, anyway. 260-447-8500. Just a couple minutes left in the show.
My Broncos tomorrow.
That's right. Well,
got to mention that.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Bo Nix and company. And
I really don't mean to gloat because I know Colts fans probably the last thing they want to hear about is NFL right now. Colts fans are probably ready to shut the radio off.
Hey, they did it to themselves.
I mean, true. There's just, look, defense coordinator needed. I mean, at this point, I don't know if anyone said it, but we got to look up top. We got to look at the top.
Top on down, yeah.
Yeah. It's getting to the point where, they don't get anyone in free agency. They don't make any moves to try to get better signing free agents. They think the draft is the way to go, and the draft hasn't exactly brought the best players. It's time. I'm sorry.
Thing of it is, they don't have to go and spend all kinds of money. They don't have to go and approach the cap or
do something.
Or should I say, with them being near 500, they're still filling a place up. They're still selling the merch. Why do anything different? Until the fans just start thinking to them, say, hey, no, it's not worth going down there. Anyway, that's just one of those things. But, anyway.
I feel for you, Colts fans. I'm a Broncos fan, so I dealt with it for a while as well. Literally until literally from the time John Elway retired to when Peyton Manning decided to come over. So I dealt with it for a long time as well. So I feel you. I feel your pain.
Yes, indeed. Did I tell you that I had John Elway on my fantasy football team years ago?
You did not, no.
After Joe Montana.
So you did not tell me that.
I've been doing that for a little while. Then having
Didn't even know they did fantasy football back then.
Yeah, we did it. Hieroglyphics on the cave walls. Thanks, buddy. That's going to do it for Talkin Sports for Saturday, January 11th, 2025. Many thanks to Mike McCaffrey, Athletic Director at the University of St. Francis, for joining us this morning. And also Shane Albahrani, play-by-play voice of the Fort Wayne Komets, for checking in from Tulsa, Oklahoma, after last night's 3-2 overtime victory over the Blue Whales in that one. And, hey, check listings, check websites for postponements of basketball games from last night that could be rescheduled for today or rescheduled at all. And if we get any information, we'll pass that along as well. But for DC Hendrix, I'm Jim Shovlin. Have a great week, everybody.
Podcasts by Federated Media.